Shabbat Shalom. There we go. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome. So delighted to have you here, whether you're joining us here in the sanctuary, joining us streaming online with us. It's so wonderful to have you here. Hopefully everybody's had a good week. And here we are at the end of it, a chance to take a breath, leave the week behind and whatever it was, to leave it behind and just have a moment to be here together to enjoy this moment of Shabbat, of reflection, of a moment to rest. And so delighted to be joined again this evening by Cantor Patty Linsky. Hey there.
Hi there. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My brother.
Thanks. Shabbat Shalom. And we're going to start with you. We're just listening to the melody of a song that may be new to you that we're going to begin with. Very easy. The Hebrew is Hava Nashira, and the English is Let Us Sing. So whether you're joining us here, joining us at home, we hope you'll join with us as we raise our voices in song and welcome Shabbat.
Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, let us sing. Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, Hava Nashira, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira again. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Come, let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Hava Nashira. Let us sing.
Beautiful. Well, we'd like to invite Phil Starr and Isabel Simontel Starr to join us on the beam. Invite you to turn in your prayer books to page 121 as we welcome Shabbat with the kindling of Shabbat lights and Kiddush.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all those who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Uh-oh. There we go.
There it is.
We have it. Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav
ציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת, Blessed are you who commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Find the Kiddush on page 123.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצבנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. On page 138, we welcome Shabbat into our midst with Lechado D. We will join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And as our tradition, when we reach verse 9, we will stand and rise and face the doors of the sanctuary as we symbolically welcome Shabbat into our midst.
השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד שמו תפארת בלי תחילה לחדוני לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לחדוני לקראת קלה פני שבת לקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מכל הטהרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Invite you to take a moment to wish each other Shabbat Shalom, to greet each other, to meet somebody new. Remain standing. We'll turn to page 146, where we'll join together in the Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-mevorach. Baruch Adonai ha-mevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalalai, 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 yalalai,
Please be seated. In the book of Isaiah, which we will read this Shabbat, we find God speaking through the prophet Isaiah to the Israelites. God says, "You are my witnesses," says the Eternal, "and I am your God." You are my witnesses, and I am your God. The great sage Shimon Bar Yochai extended this thought. He said, "When you are my witnesses," said God, "I am God. But when you are not my witnesses, I am, as it were, not God." If we look at the words of the Shema on pages 152 and 153, I think we can understand this teaching where Shimon Bar Yochai gets this teaching, because embedded in the words we are about to say are a large ayin at the end of the first word, Shema, and a large daled at the end of the last word, Echad. Those two letters together, ayin and daled, form the word ed, which means witness. Here in the text itself, is a reminder to us that we must be witnesses to God's oneness. God's unity depends upon us, who through compassionate words and just actions serve as witnesses to God's unity in the world. In essence, God's reality and presence is up to us. And so as we now turn to the Shema, we focus on the many ways in which we can serve as witnesses to God's unity in our world. I invite you to rise once again as we join together in the Shema. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We'll continue with the Ve'ahavta on the next page.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבנך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
The bottom of page 157. Let's continue responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love.
From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing at the shores of the sea.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot oseh nora tehilot oseh Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. מלכותך ראו בניך, כהים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי עמדו ואמרו, זה אלי עמדו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא אלי אלי, יא אלי 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 אלי. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Nora
Tehilot
oseh Nora
Tehilot
oseh Adonai
Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
ונאמר כי יפת אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 160.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, העמידנו שומרנו לחיים.
We need silence. Silence is essential. We cannot hear something new if we are always babbling away or carrying on a constant internal monologue. By quieting our minds, by emptying ourselves of preconceptions, we create a space for something else to come out in new ways. Why was the Torah given in the desert, we are asked? Because one cannot acquire the wisdom of Torah unless one makes oneself into an ownerless desert, into a wilderness. As we now turn to the tefillah, the Amidah, we are provided the opportunity to turn inward, to turn towards the quieting of our minds, the calming of our bodies, in order that we might be able to hear the still, small, quiet voice within, urging us toward that which is loving and precious and sacred. So I invite you now, as we turn to page 164, if you are able, to please rise as we continue with the Amidah.
Adonai
Sfatai tiftach, Adonai Sfatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha, Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai tiftach, Adonai Sfatai tiftach, Ufi yagid tehilatecha, Ufi yagid tehilatecha. We now continue silently with the words in our Siddur through page 180, or with the thoughts and meditations of our own hearts. And when you're prepared to do so, you may be seated.
והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך.
On page 371, should you need the words, we turn now to our prayer for healing. Praying for the healing of those suffering illness of body, of mind, of spirit, that they may find a refuah shlema, a full and complete healing. We pray for a refuah shlema for John Altshul, Aaron Aronov, Gary Ashland, Stephen Baird, Marion Barak, Michael Becker, Sophie Belsberg, Itzhak Ben Nomi, Lisa Bird, Elaine Blatt, Louise Cantrell, Wayne Cantrell, Amy Chadwick, Bill Cohen, Bertha Coleman, Michael Dyer, Tino Felipe, Bernie Goldstein, Robert Greenberg, Rhonda Kaplan, Jeff Mackler, Joe Marinelli, Yeet Nakowitz, Zachary Pierce, Vitaly Popov, Keith Rand, Ben Reback, Arlene Reagan, Ivan Rosenberg, Richard Ross, Myrna Salzberg, Enid Seelig, Lowell Selvin, Miles Sen, Karen Shanbrom, Luann Snyder, David Suriel, Lily Sue Tyler, Stephen Valentino, David Ben Herschel Vabasha, Adam Weisbart, Rena Weishart, Gib Weinbar, Philip Windsor, Eitan Wolf, Doug Workman. Before we join together in words, if there's those whose names you are holding in your hearts this Shabbat, and we have not yet heard their names, if you'd like to call them out as I look your way.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal
wondering if any of you recall the movie Hook. For those who don't, it's a sequel to Peter Pan, where an adult Peter, played by Robin Williams, must return to Neverland to save his children who have been kidnapped by Captain Hook, played, of course, by Dustin Hoffman. And before he can save them, however, this new adult Peter, who has grown up to become a corporate pirate, must remember who he is, that he is indeed Peter Pan and not a pirate. Of course, he eventually does remember and saves his children and returns to London with them, which brings me to my favorite scene in the movie. Peter is escorted back to London by Tinkerbell, Julia Roberts, who else? And there, just as the sun is rising, Tink prepares to take leave of Peter. And he asks if he'll ever see her again. And she replies, "You know that place between sleep and awake? That place where you still remember dreaming? That is where I will always love you, Peter Pan. That's where I'll be waiting." Tinkerbell is describing a liminal space, a transitional place that exists between what has been and what will be, a place where we can imagine and dream. This is where we find the Israelites this week in our Torah portion as we enter the book of Deuteronomy. In fact, it is where we will find them for the next several weeks as they exist in this liminal space for the entire book of Deuteronomy. These Israelites, born in the wilderness to parents who had experienced the Exodus, are neither here nor there. They find themselves on the border, no longer in the wilderness, but not quite yet in the promised land. They find themselves in a moment of transition, moving from what was to what will be. It is, of course, the exact same place we find ourselves, isn't it? Our Kol-Ami community, existing between what has been and what will be. For us as well, it is a place to imagine and to dream. And it is also where we are, the larger Jewish community, where we find ourselves as we begin tonight the journey, believe it or not, towards the high holy days.
I know.
This Shabbat is called Shabbat Chazon. Shabbat Chazon. The Shabbat of vision. So named because on this Shabbat we read the words at the beginning of the prophet Isaiah, which begin, Chazon Yeshayahu. This is the vision of Isaiah. And we will hear the vision of Isaiah recounted every week between now and Rosh Hashanah. But it is not the only vision we will hear. Not the only vision that will be shared with us, of course, over these next many weeks. There is that of Moses as well. Moses also finds himself in a personal liminal moment. He knows that he is at the end of his life. He is about to hand over the reins of leadership to Joshua and watch a new generation move on without him. He is in so many ways like his people, like us, neither here nor there. In fact, both Moses and Isaiah, interestingly, are situated in liminal moments in their own time. Moses just before the Israelites' entry into the promised land, and Isaiah just before their forced exit out of that same land. This Shabbat is filled with so many borders, multiple points of transition in different ways, all sorts of liminal moments in this Shabbat. Moments that bring us, honestly, unease and discomfort that comes with being neither here nor there, but also Moments that call us courageously to take up the potential and possibilities that only exist in liminal spaces. Moses takes advantage of this moment to share his dreams and hopes of who his people will become, his thoughts on how they can successfully create a sacred and a blessed community, make that land they are entering into a promised land. And as I noted, the prophet Isaiah also finds himself in a liminal moment, a decidedly darker liminal moment. His Israelites are about to be forced back out across the border of the promised land as the temple and his nation are destroyed. And like Peter Pan in the movie Hook, Isaiah's Israelites have forgotten who they are. Isaiah chastises them for how miserably they have failed to live up to the vision Moses had set out for them on the border of the promised land all those years ago. So our Torah and Haftorah come together to take us on quite the journey this week, actually, from the liminal moment just before the creation of the Israelite nation to the one just before its demise. And what is the common thread that links these two moments together? Well, interestingly enough, it is words. Words. Divarim in Hebrew, which coincidentally just happens to be the name of this week's Torah portion. Divarim, words. Moses uses words to describe the building blocks of a promised land, acts of justice and love and compassion for the disenfranchised, for the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. Sadly, by the time of Isaiah, the Israelites have resorted to using words that demean and tear down. And ultimately, as our tradition tells us, it is the misuse of words leading to animosity and anger and discord that are the cause of the nation's downfall. And with awesome brilliance, our sages have brought all of these moments together. This dramatic contradistinction of the power of words to either build or to destroy, in order to create a most dramatic moment of transition for us in our annual cycle through the Jewish year. Because you see, the reading of these two texts always occurs on the Shabbat that precedes Tisha B'Av, the day that commemorates so many tragedies that have befallen the Jewish people, beginning with the aforementioned conquest of the nation and the destruction of the temple. And it is from Tisha B'Av, which occurs this Thursday, considered to be the darkest day on the Jewish calendar, that we begin our journey towards Rosh Hashanah. We start from the lowest point and journey over the coming weeks to the highest. We begin in lament and we end in joy. As the psalmist said, those who sow in tears reap in joy. And all of that has led to this Shabbat requiring another moniker. Besides Shabbat Chazon, it is also called Shabbat Shechorah, Black Sabbath. Many of you remember them? I was never really a fan. Over the next 8 weeks, we will journey from the dark moment, this dark moment of Shabbat Shechorah to Shabbat Levanah, the white Shabbat, more commonly known as Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat that comes between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And along the way, we will be accompanied by the visions of Moses and Isaiah, every step of the way. And along that path, or tonight, we take the first steps along that path and into this liminal moment. 1 year rapidly fading behind us and a new year still to come. It is a time for dreaming and imagining what the new year might be for us individually and for us as a community. As we do so, we are challenged by this moment to carefully measure our divarim, our words. Will we be the Israelites of Isaiah, using words recklessly and destructively? or the Israelites of Moses, committed to words and acts of justice and righteousness, support and blessing, through which we can build a land of promise together. In the movie Hook, as Peter Pan struggles to remember who he is, you may remember the Lost Boys too struggle to understand the identity of this grown-up that has literally been dropped upon them by Tinkerbell. But finally, the littlest of them goes up to Peter and squishes his face back. Squishes back the face of this mature man and looks deeply at him and proclaims, "Oh, there you are, Peter." That is the task we take on once again in this annual cycle of our journey through time. We may have wandered off and lost our sense of self, perhaps lost our way, and if so, now, like Peter Pan, is the time to begin to reconnect, to dream and imagine, to find our way back, to recognize the best in ourselves, turning to words that help and heal, because without a doubt, that is where God will always love us. That is where God is waiting. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. You're going to find something up there in just a moment, and I'd like you to join me. Smile, an everlasting smile. A smile can bring you near to me. Don't ever let me find you down, 'cause that would bring a tear to me. This world has lost its glory. Let's start a brand new story now, my love. Right now, there'll be no other time, and I can show you how, my love. Talk in everlasting words and dedicate them all to me. And I will give you all my life. I'm here if you should call to me. You think that I don't even mean a single word I say. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away. You think that I don't even mean a single word I say. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away. It's only words, and words are all I have to take your heart away.
And speaking of important words, we're going to share some with you about events happening within the community. over the coming weeks. So invite our congregational treasurer to come and share some, Murray, to share some words with us.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Murray Levine, member of the Board of Trustees, and on behalf of the Board of Kol Ami, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom. We want to thank Kantalinsky for sharing her voice and music tonight, and for David Kaminsky for his music tonight, and Travis for your audio and video. Leonard Seelig for your help in setting up tonight's Oneg. Thank you. Tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Philip Starr and Isabel Simmental Starr in loving memory of Michael Simmental. Thank you. On Sunday, July 23rd, this Sunday, from 1 to 6 p.m., MOCA, the men of Kol Ami, are having their annual pool party at the home of Don Klein. This will include a catered lunch with plenty of drinks and snacks. MOCA welcomes cisgender males, transgender males, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks who are male identified of all ages. Thursday, July 27th, as Rabbi mentioned, is Tisha B'Av, the saddest day of the Jewish calendar. On this day, we will recognize the poverty, wages, and deplorable working conditions of hospitality workers who are currently on strike in Los Angeles. There is a gathering at the Pico Union Project from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. More information can be found on flyers in the lobby. On July 30th, a group of us will be heading to the Hollywood Bowl for Everybody Rise, a Sondheim celebration. Tickets are once again sold out of this group, but should one become available, we will let you know if you let us know that you're looking for one. Saturday, August 5th at 4 p.m. will be our next book circle gathering online. We are reading The Golem and the Jinni by Helene Waker. The Golem and the Jinni was awarded the Mythopoeic Award for Adult Literature, the VCU Cabell Award for First Novel, and the Harold U. Ribelau Prize, and was nominated for a Nebula Award and a World Fantasy Award. We thank you in advance for renewing your 2023-2024 membership with Kol Ami. By now, you should have received your renewal statements via email. If you have any questions about your membership payment terms, please feel free to contact Adam directly. Devorah will be out of the office next week. Before you know it, we will be celebrating the High Holy Days together. Erev Rosh Hashanah is on Friday, September 15th. Kol Nidre is on Sunday evening, September 24th. We are already preparing to email High Holy Day schedule information to you and update our website. We encourage you to mark your calendars now. Starting August 4th and throughout the month of August, we will be starting services at 7:05 p.m. We are piloting this idea, and we will let you know if it will be a permanent change or if we will then be going back to the 6:30 p.m. start. As always, we hope you'll keep up to date on all that is happening at Congregation Kol Ami by visiting our website often at kol-ami.org. That's kolami.org. And while you are visiting our website, please consider a donation to our synagogue to support the holy work we do all year long. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
We'll turn in our prayer books now to page 586 and join together there in the Aleinu. I ask you please rise as we open the ark.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורר עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. As we come to the end of our worship, we take a moment to remember and sanctify the memories of those who have been lost physically to us, but remain very much a presence in our lives, who taught us, who blessed us, who guided us, whose shoulders we stand upon. We bless their memories and remember that as we remember them, we carry them with us as part of the blessings that we share in the world. We remember first those whose yahrzeit is observed on this Shabbat. First, those whose names are lit on our wall of memory: Richard T. Lowenthal, Lillian Dorman, and Michael Simmenthal. We remember the yahrzeits as well of David Wakehoff and Anna Rouse and Kazuko Hasagawa. And we remember those who have died in years past, Kaddish, whose loved ones continue to say Kaddish for them at this time. We remember Victor Escobar, Alvin Gross, Ernie Benson, Kathy Weiss, Eileen Metzner, Janice Houghton Levy, Anton Malley, Josh Kaplan, Don Hollis, Jason Thomas Lodge, Elaine Cohen, Maeve Eisenberg, Barton Kogan, Dabby Blatt, Stephen Shapiro, Carol Rosenthal, Marilyn Horowitz, Murray Blank, Stephen Hochstein, Ernie Sosnick, Stephen W. Wright, Scott Magid, Gloria Brown, Rosina Spitzer, Lizzie Taylor, Jamie Hornbeck, David Bird, Fran Shanbrom, Louis Silverman, Patricia Rudolph, Harriet Stein, David Bordetsky, Vivian Bernard, Leatrice Bloom, Tammy Rabowski, Reverend Daniel E. Smith, George Fisher, and Estelle Keller-Baum, a member of Congregation Kol Ami, Addie Lelyveld, mother of Phil Lelyveld, and Reva Solomon, member of Congregation Kol Ami. If you are saying Kaddish for a loved one and have yet to hear their name called, I invite you to please share their name with us at this time.
Artemis Gershik.
To you we say, Zichronam Livracha, may the memory of your loved ones be always a source of blessing. I invite you to rise now as we join together on page 598. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach, Hirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chai Echon, V'yom Echon, V'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavarach Le'olam Omei Amaya, Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh, V'yit Adar V'yit Alev V'yit Halal Shmei D'Kudsha B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tush B'chata V'nechemata, Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to all the bereaved among us, as we say, Amen. Please be seated.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, we are grateful for the opportunity to once again stand on the edge of the promised land. Let us use these coming weeks to consider where we have gone astray and take a moment to mourn what we have lost, what could have been. And then let us gather the courage to turn toward the future. With open hearts and open minds, let us dream and imagine the promised land we will soon enter. With our words in our hands, let us build together a world of compassion, a world of justice, a world of love, a world of wholeness, and a world of peace. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Don't go
And
anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
I almost forgot.
It's so cute.
Look at that cute little
Little
pup.
baby Hala. Please join with us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay. Hello, my sweet. Oh, you too.
How you doing?